Switch 2 Lite might be closer than you think, and in this video I go over some patents that were recently renewed that might suggest that the Switch 2 Lite will be coming out in 2026, as well as a bunch of information that corroborates that claim. Let's get right into it. If you guys have been enjoying these videos, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I do daily Nintendo content. Anyways, this is the patent I am talking about. This was actually recently renewed alongside a bunch of Switch 2 patents. Let me back up a second. So, if you guys don't remember, back when the Switch 2 wasn't really announced yet, we got a bunch of patents showing off, the mouse mode for the Switch and the overall design. This being one of them, this kind of showing off the mouse mode functionality for the Switch 2 controllers. This was renewed or kind of opened up back in 2023. And alongside that was this patent, originally released back in 2014, around 2014 to 2016. We don't really have an exact date. But yeah, this was actually renewed at the same time, which is like a mini device form factor, which is a mini device form factor that mainly showcases an IR camera technology. That's what they're showing off here. The camera's right here in the front, and it kind of shows what's being broadcasted or what's being recorded. It is worth noting that the Switch 2 patent also had IR camera technology on it, and it didn't come with it. So I think this patent being renewed basically kind of lends toward maybe the form factor, less of the tech and more of the form factor. On this NeoGAF form, they go deeply into what is going into this patent. Yeah, so I mean, one of the key features that this patent does display is basically an exemplarily portable electronic apparatus that includes a display provided at the front surface and an infrared camera and a distance measuring sensor which are provided at the side surface. When a user holds the portable electronic apparatus with their left hand and makes a gesture with their right hand, the portable, and it goes into just basically inputs when it comes to, overall design of the device. It is worth noting that this patent is called electronic apparatus and not specifically for the IR camera itself. Nintendo has done, of course, more patents as well, some that have yet to be renewed or are being still worked on. You can find all of them on this one, the FPO, Free Patents Online. And this is one of them. A lighting device and display transceiver, basically kind of like the Switch's dock. It is just interesting because this got renewed alongside the patents for a lot of the Switch 2's designs, which makes me think that this could be our first look at Switch Mini. The reason why I'm calling it Switch Mini is that prominent leaker Nash Weedle kind of brought this up to my attention while looking through some of his stuff to make more videos on. It says that if we look at the latest renewals and updates of Nintendo's patents that we've already seen, it seems like they're still set on a mini console. Will we end up seeing it? And this could be many things. Again, my thoughts is this being a Switch 2. I do not think they'd go with like the Switch 2 Lite kind of mantra, but definitely like Switch 2-ish. And I know what you must be thinking. It is way too early for a Switch 2. And that's where I tell you, I think you might be wrong. This console was in development for what, 6 years? I believe we got like early signs that this was delayed a while ago. And this console should have been out maybe 2 years at the earliest. So if we're thinking in terms of that, a Switch Lite or the Lite versions of consoles normally come out 2 years, 2 to 2.5 years after the main console's debut. This is from DS to DS Lite, 3DS to 2DS. I mean, that's really about it. Oh, and the Switch to Switch Lite. So theoretically, if the normal Switch 2 got delayed, it makes a lot of sense for a Switch Lite to actually be right across the horizon. And another reason of mine is a lot of games aren't really going to be launched on the Switch 2 because of its install base. And for Nintendo to drastically increase its install base, they would have to release a cheaper console for the Switch 2's family. And that would make sense for it to be a mini Switch 2 or, you know, a Switch 2 Lite. When I talk about games, I'm basically kind of meaning Pokemon and Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing less so, but definitely Pokemon. When it comes to Gen 10, I have a feeling that that game is actually going to come out on the Switch 1 and Switch 2. And the reason is because the install base on the Switch 2 is only 5 million compared to the Switch 1's, I think, what, 146 million. And if they want Gen 10 to be the best selling Pokemon game, it would kind of have to be on the Switch 1. I'm not complaining, but I am just saying. And with the recent rumors about Animal Crossing 2026 coming out, it actually makes me think that it could be a launch title alongside a Switch 2 Lite or a Switch Mini. You guys might be thinking I'm a little crazy for thinking that, but there was a massive Switch Lite push when Animal Crossing first came out. There was even bundled Switch Lites that came with Animal Crossing, and I actually remember getting the pink one for my mom. I'm gonna try and get her to send a photo. I'll put it up on screen if she ever did. But yeah, I got this exact Switch for my mom that came with basically a free copy of Animal Crossing New Horizons, which is, you know, crazy for Nintendo to do. Both of these consoles look amazing, by the way, and I kind of wish I picked one up for myself. When it comes to the Switch Lites, I have one, and I barely play it, but it's just sitting right back there. I could definitely see a Switch Mini or Switch 2 Lite as a release for, you know, Animal Crossing 2026. And it just makes sense because, you know, with Nintendo's philosophy when it came to the Switch, I think halfway through its life cycle, they wanted to make it a multiple device console, something that one member of your family would have each day. And I think they succeeded in that, especially with Animal Crossing, because one island is tied to a console. People didn't really want to share their Switches. Families didn't really have a family Switch. They each had their own console. And I think Switch Lite would do that perfectly. And if you think about it, once we get a Switch Lite, that kind of opens the doors for games like Pokemon, like Animal Crossing, to sell very, very well. Especially because Pokemon is kind of seen as a very portable game. And if they have a strictly portable Nintendo console, price it at maybe, what, $30? Or sorry, not 30, $300. I think it would sell well. Maybe not even 300, but 400 since, you know, but 350, similar to the Switch OLED. Maybe even 400. No, just 350. No, just 350. If a mini does come out, of course I'll pick it up, but I am interested to see how they're going to fit the processing power that the Switch 2 has into a miniature console. Because, like, you know, if they can fit it in a smaller console, why didn't they do it with the original? Because I really don't think, unless they make it only 1080 and no HDR, which I could definitely see them doing. Because it's a strictly handheld console. That would also drastically improve the battery life and make that a kind of something that a lot of people might want to get. But those are my quick theories on why Nintendo might be releasing a Switch Mini, a Switch 2 Lite fairly soon, within the next year. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Like the video, subscribe. I'll do another video tomorrow, and I will see you there. Goodbye.